welcome to another episode of You've Been a Great Help. I can't believe we've hit 5 episodes already, and I still have more people to talk to. Turns out I have more friends than one. I'm shocked as you are, to be honest. Tonight I am dressed a bit less informal as we normally have, because or a bit more informal than we normally have, because it's warm. If you haven't realised, it's absolutely roasting. So I'm wearing this nice shirt, cleverly donated to me by my fiance Matt, because I don't own nice clothes. So anyone wants to give me nice clothes for free. I'm not a charity case, but I could do with it. I'm kidding. So tonight I've got a hell of a different kind of show for you. We've got also our 3 guests, as we normally do. 3 very important people with 3 very important things to say. And a very special guest star. We have a lovely singer on with us tonight. We have Kitty McNulty, who's going to be singing us some lovely little jazzy number in between some of our guests. Now, what have I been up to in the past week? I've been roasting, I've been sweating, and life's going back to normal. It's weird, isn't it? Pubs are opening soon. God, I need a drink. I say that like I haven't drank in lockdown. I have too much. So, my first guest that I have on tonight is a guy that I've known for about a year now. We've been to some weird auditions together. He's a laugh. He's even been a zookeeper. I know, right? Oh, and he makes some nice pastries if you go to a place in Liverpool. Well, he's not there anymore, but he makes them if you want them. Please welcome to the stage, Sam Baxter.
Brandon McCaffrey.
Hello.
How you doing?
And oh, I've got an introduction. I never get the introduction.
Well, you know, it's your show. You know, people should know. I'm with you, by the way, on it being hot and dressing a bit more casually. I did lay out a really nice, like, fancy pattern shirt. I thought I'm going to be on a podcast, you know, oh, let's dress up. And it's like 30 degrees. And I was like, there's no chance. There's no chance. No, I played tennis today and I sweated very badly. So it's, yeah, time to cool. Time to just chill.
Cool. Time to chill a little bit. Now, Sam, you were a part of my agency. We're not anymore, but I still keep in contact with you quite regularly on the weekly. And he's doing pretty well for himself, if I do say so myself.
Well, it wasn't until before lockdown. Let's say that.
Oh, well, lockdown kind of ruined a lot of things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And one thing that you were in, as I just mentioned, you were in a lovely little show called Dear Zoo. Now, for anyone that doesn't know what Dear Zoo is a new live show that's been on for a few years now, obviously taking different casting as it goes along. And for parents out there, it's a children's book, if I'm right. What exactly is the story, Sam?
Pardon?
What exactly is the story for our audience?
So the story is about a little boy who writes a letter to the zoo asking for a pet, and they send him all sorts of wildly inappropriate animals for a pet. So they send a lion, they send a camel, an elephant, a giraffe, a frog, a snake, a monkey, and then finally he ends up with a dog. So he sends all these animals back to the zoo because they're not right, and then he ends up with a little dog in the end. And it ends with the perfect pet in the end. So it was kind of very classic children's theatre, but it's a lot of fun doing kids theatre.
Well, by the looks of it, you look like you're having a great time here. This is as a zookeeper. You know, I don't know if I trust him to look after your animals, judging by the way he seems very focused on more how he looks and not what's going on the stage. But you may give it a risk.
Well, it's a very vain zookeeper. You know, you've got to, you know, keep up your looks and everything like that. It's very important role.
Did you go full blown method with it? Did you go work at a zoo?
Oh yeah, 100%. I slept with panda bears and everything. It was crazy. Just call me Daniel Day-Lewis. You know, get really into my roles. No, I'd say like kids theatre definitely. It's a different beast from any other kind of media or theatre. It's got to be kind of really soft and engaging, but you can't be patronizing to the kids because kids aren't stupid. And I think that's the one thing that we really focused on in rehearsals, and that I learned a lot because it's my first. I don't like a kids show just beforehand in the summer of last year at the Manchester Fringe, but this was like where I've really focused. We focused on like how you engage with kids properly. There's certainly things
and they're not afraid to tell you what they think at all. Kids will tell you.
Yeah,
I had kids during Robin Hood ask me, "Do you drink wine?" And I'm like, "I don't think this is something we should be discussing."
Were you trained for?
Turning to Alexandra and me and going, "Are you two together?" No. Pointing to her and Max, "Are you two together?" No. Points to me and Max, "Are you two together?" Progressive. But no.
We're here for liberal kids. We like that.
We liked it. It was fun. So you were working with a lot of puppets and things while doing
Yes. So for the tour, I was hired as one of the 2 puppeteers and the assistant stage manager and the understudy for all the male roles. So basically, I had to learn the whole script inside out, like the back of my hand.
You were the swing.
Yeah, basically, I kind of like general dog's body, but I learned a lot and it was good. But yeah, we had to work with puppets, and I'd worked with puppets on the job previously, and that was my first sort of introduction to puppetry. Learned sort of about puppetry modes and different kinds of puppets and how you kind of make this inanimate object come to life and tell a story. And that's kind of I fell in love with it really as an art form. I just think it's great. I mean, I've seen like West End shows that use puppetry, things like War Horse, Life of Pi, Lion King, and I've always loved it. I've always been really fascinated with it. So when I got the opportunity to do it, I kind of jumped on it really. And there were lots of different types of puppets in Deer Zoo. We had like leather puppets, they were sort of pulling levers, and then there were skins. So we were wearing like a monkey costume and a frog costume, which were incredibly hot.
Should be wearing it today. Perfect day.
I can't imagine anything worse. Like that'd be a nightmare. Yeah, so there was lots of sort of lots of challenges with working with puppets. Different challenges that you get from working with actors, like on a live sense. So all of Deer Zoo is all the puppets are scored with a track underneath, and they've got voice artists to do it like 6 years ago on like the 4th iteration of the tour previously. So we just reused the same track. So we had to kind of make sure that all the mouths were synced and all the movements were synced up, which took a bit of time. And because there was 2 puppeteers, so it was me and an actress, we had to make sure our movements were all the same. Sort of because of the nature of the show, it's kind of got to be the same every time. It's a brand, so there's not really any scope for little ad libs or things like that. It's got to run because it's based behind a track. Everything's to the second. Yeah, so we kind of had to really work on that. Obviously, the tour, when it toured the year beforehand, the van got stolen.
I heard about that, yes. The van got stolen and all the set went missing.
All the set went missing. The rest of the tour got cancelled. So when we arrived, all of the set was brand new. Then they'd spent just an obscene amount of money to get everything looking new and good. So this was brand spanking new set. So we were all a bit wary of transporting it because we did like 35 venues, I think, up and down the country. So it was a grueling tour, but yeah, we kind of had to make sure that everything, like all the puppets, were transported safely and not damaged at all. Like we toured with some paint if things got scratched, but
we did that with Robin Hood. I know the feel.
Yeah.
Now, during lockdown, you've been up to quite a few things. One of your big things is such a thing that is in front of me as we speak, where you bought a lovely, nice little voice setup, and you've been doing a lovely little thing called Take a Minute. What exactly is Take a Minute?
So Take a Minute is a series of audio recordings of poetry and short stories. So I've kind of, I did an English literature degree before I went to drama school. So I've always had a bit of an affinity with poetry. I've always just really liked it as an art form. So when lockdown happened and, I got furloughed from my day job, I was kind of left with not a lot to do. And over the weeks, I kind of saw lots of my actor friends on Twitter posting monologues and getting involved in competitions. And I've made the classic actor mistake of getting a bit sort of, why them, not me?
It's kind of why I made this shit.
It's something, you should always be happy for your mates and stuff. But it was that point I was like, oh, what's going on? Like, this is, I was unrepresented, and I was like, just kind of going, oh, this is terrible. So I kind of shook myself up a bit and decided that I wanted to do something creative. So I kind of thought about what I wanted to do. And the idea of Take a Minute came from, the world's a bit rubbish at the moment, really. It's a bit blur. Yeah, exactly. If you could describe 2020 as something, it'd be blur. So for me, poetry and sort of listening to audiobooks is quite therapeutic. So I thought, if it does something creative for me, is something creatively stimulating, and if it relieves some stress for other people, or it takes them out of their day for a minute, then that's a good thing, surely. So it's part of.
What kind of ones have you been doing for people to listen to?
I've tried to pick a really wide range. I've tried to sort of not just pick middle-aged white men who lived in the 18th century, sort of, because there are some poems by those people and they're fantastic, but I've tried to pick a wide range of authors. I've tried to do some for kids, some that are a bit more serious. So because it's Pride Month, I've done a few queer poets. I did one the other day about the Pulse nightclub shooting.
Yes.
I read it, and I just something about that poem. It's called a poem for Pulse. It's Jameson Fitzpatrick, and I love it. It's just such a wonderful poem. And then I've done silly ones, like the one I released today was McCavity the Mystery Cat by T.S. Eliot. So it's from the poems. So if you're a fan of the musical Cats, go check it out. So I've just tried to have a wide range.
Check out for it.
So you can go on to SoundCloud and type in Sam Baxter 22, and it'll come up with my profile. Or you can follow me on Twitter. It's sbaxter1995, and I post that daily on there, the link. Or you can follow my Instagram, and I put that on the little Insta stories, the link for that. So that's Sam Baxter 18.
So I will be sharing all of that in the comments once we're done, as my usual researcher Kat is busy moving house, so I feel like she can't do that at the moment. So that will be done later on in the show. Now, Sam, you know when you come on this show, there's a challenge for everyone. And I like to make the challenge very central to who it is that's coming on. So for you, I've made it about Dear Zoo. You're going to get 4 blurry pictures of animals, and I want you to tell me what they are.
Okay.
Can you do it?
I'm ready.
Are you sure you're ready?
No, not at all, but let's go.
But sure, why not? So, your first animal is coming up now.
Oh, penguin. Emperor penguin. Easy.
Do you know what? That took you far too long, as far as I'm concerned.
Rude. No, they're my favorite. They're my favorite animal.
They're your favorite animal?
If I could have a pet, it would be an emperor penguin. I know that's not necessarily like.
You're absolutely correct. It might not be. I don't think it's emperor penguin. We love a penguin. Your next one is coming up now. Feel free to comment along in the comments if you can guess who it is, what it is first, because Sam already took a minute.
That's an elephant. African elephant.
African elephant. Are you completely sure on that?
That is my final answer.
That is your final answer. Would you like to lock that in?
Lock it in.
Because you are correct. It is an elephant. You're so happy you're doing this right.
Oh yeah.
Third one.
I'm uber competitive. That's a lion.
It is a lion. It is. Oh, you're doing so well at this. This is what Dear Zoo does to people. It makes you have this ability. It's a lion. I love lions, mate, but I think that's just my love for the Lion King. To the end of days, I love a lion, mate.
Yeah, I'm not sure lions and the Lion King are quite the same.
And your final one.
Oh my god, what is that?
I know.
That is it. I want to say a cat, but that is a big cat. Is it? It's a bear. I think that's a little cub.
Is it a cub? Are you settling in your answer?
Yeah, go on then.
You going with that one? You going with it? You going with it? You going with it? It's not. It's a black panther.
Oh my god.
And it's gorgeous. I have to say, it's stunning.
It's very sleek.
It is very sleek. Well, you did pretty well. You got them all apart from one. So well done. Look at that. Guess working at a zoo does actually help people out some stuff. At least it's not Belfast Zoo, where lions are walking down the highway and the motorway. And happens.
Yeah, all I can do too, being given as gifts to kids.
Belfast Zoo could do that. I'm not going to lie. Wouldn't put it past them. But thank you very much for coming on the show, Sam. You've been a great help, mate, and I hope people will check out your thing. I'll put the link in all the stuff later on after the show so people can check it out. Feel free to download, give it a listen. After all, it only takes a minute. So, thank you very much. You've been a great help, and I'll see you later. Bye. Thank you very much to Sam for chatting to us. Now, guys, I want you to feel free to share the broadcast. I want to get this out as much as we can tonight as well. And let people know. Come watch the show. It's a party. And my next guest that I got on is someone who I worked with at the very beginning of my career on a film called Braxton Butcher, where I murdered a lot of people and then played a character, and everyone went, "Oh, but it has to be you." And I'm like, "It's not. I did get killed." Spent a lot of time with a dead body. I actually think I was on more than 4 times. So, please welcome to the show a man who's made many a fantastic film, Jim McMorrow.
Hello, how's it going? Nice to see you.
Hello.
How are you?
Nice to see you too. Oh, I feel like nice to see you. Nice. I'm good. I'm good. Just getting through life, you know, making a show. It's always a party.
Great.
How are you?
You have me?
It's no problem. It's been lovely to have you. I've got 2 Northern Irish people on this week. There's 3 of us. We're taking over the world here.
Yeah.
So the first thing I want to ask you about is, how exactly did you get into filmmaking?
Braxton Butcher, as you say. I mean, I think I was fairly confident that it was something I always wanted to be involved in from a kid when I was a child. And what I always sort of say is that my mum, who's no longer with us, you know, was a very practical woman and said, "Well, I don't mind you having filmmaking as a hobby, but you've got to pay the mortgage. So go and get a career, go and get a degree, and we'll talk about it after." So I got my degree, and I got my postgrad certificate in education and became a teacher. So the career was nailed, and Mum was like, "Okay, go for it now." And our mutual great friend, Leo McGuigan, offered me a place in Braxton Butcher, and that was it. That was my first time on a set, and here we are.
It's funny you say that, because with working with you in Braxton, I would have said you've been doing it for years.
Thank you.
You had quite an image in your head of what like you seen and what you wanted to do with things. Like you were quite precise on it, and you were very thoughtful on it. So I'm surprised that was actually your first thing. I wouldn't have thought that.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. No, I think it was pent up sort of ideas, and you know, I'm sure you know yourself, like lockdown's probably a great example of when you're a naturally sort of creative person and you really want to express that in some way. You know, your ideas just, you know, form, and then when they get an opportunity to get them released, it's just amazing, and your creativity just really comes out.
Oh, absolutely. And the show that you just finished working on, your lovely little film, is called Upside.
Yeah,
and I watched it today. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Oh, it's so good. I loved it. It's so nice. For anyone that doesn't know what Jim's teaching wise, Jim teaches at a special needs school. Which if I'm right, your main actor in this is also a friend of yours.
My main actor, no, funny. Keenan, who plays Stephen in the film, has Down syndrome, and I was casting for an actor with Downs, and you know, I've seen a couple, and I was given some really, really great tips and so forth. And then I was photographing Down Syndrome Awareness Day at Belfast City Hall. And the kid came over to me and said, "Will you take my picture?" And I said, "Yeah." And I took a picture of him, and he said, "Can I see?" And I turned the camera around to show him, and he went, "Oh, I look like Bon Jovi." And it was Keenan, and I was like, "You know what? This kid's got some amazing confidence. I really want to audition him." And I called his mum and said, "You know, I've never met you. Do you mind if I come around to your house?"
I swear I'm not a creep, please.
Exactly. And she was just like, "Oh God, absolutely, please, that would be amazing." So I went around, and he read the script knew every line, knew everybody else's line, and it was like, oh, you're a gift as an actor. So it was a no-brainer at that point, and just wasn't intimidated. Like that was the other thing. I was terrified. Like, okay, you can do it for me. Can you do it when there's lights and cameras and actors and ADs and everything? And he wasn't fazed one iota. It was amazing.
That's fantastic, and he's for someone that, by the sounds of it, had no acting previous experience. He's really good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
I was very impressed by him.
Means a lot then, I would imagine.
No, it's doing well from what I've seen. The film is going from strength to strength and getting a lot of awards.
Yeah, it's pretty. I'm very happy so far. It's playing some really good festivals around the world. We've just got 2 American ones. We won an award in Colorado. We're playing in Serbia, which is weird. As you do. But you know, it's really good, and what I'm really happy about is that the message of the film seems to be really resonating with people, and the Education Authority in Belfast are going to pick it up and use it as an educational viewing film in school. Amazing. So I mean, I think it did what I wanted to do. So I'm very happy.
If anything, it feels like the kind of film that's going to teach people a lot more about people with Downs that they wouldn't regularly get. I think it shows off a more side of people with Downs that you don't see in regular media. Yeah. Because it's like in regular media, it can be taken to a comedic moment, or it can be taken to a very, very emotional moment where it's like there's no difference between a person with Downs and like me or you at the end of the day. And I think that's absolutely something that Upside shows.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. That's exactly what I wanted to show, because you know many of the other films that I've seen in recent years, the Downs character's always been, as you say, for comedic effect, and it's always been, oh, look at those little rapscallions, you never know what they're going to do next. And it just felt, as someone, you know, because you know it's based on a true story, and my nephew has Downs, and from someone who's literally been there since the day he was born, I was like, that's not how he is. You know, he's not that guy. So I wanted to make one that was a bit more real. I hope, anyway.
No, it was great. So what's next for you then?
Hopefully just more and more shorts. Lockdown's been good to me. I've been writing a bit more. I've got the next script. It would be my ideal movie. It's called The Boogeyman. Not a horror film. I know that.
Not a horror film.
Not a horror film. Based on, it's a true story about Belfast in the 70s. It would be my dream next project.
I haven't even mentioned my meme that I shared the other day. I should only meme going like, I'd like a play set in the 70s. Oh, right, okay. It's like during the Troubles. Daring today, aren't we? Most plays coming out. But that's great that it's your dream kind of film and that's you're making. That's fantastic.
I hope so, yeah.
As you've just seen, Sam had a lovely challenge. I've also got a lovely challenge for you. I always do.
Oh,
I like I say, I like to make it personal. Now, Jim, I know that it's a lot, but how many versions of Halloween do you own?
I mean, do we need to go into that?
Oh, wow, I think we do.
Okay, well, I think the last time I saw you, it was 23, and now it's 26. So
amazing. And I see you just H2O's, was it the trailer?
Yeah, the trailer, the 35mm trailer, really, yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So your challenge that I have for you is about Halloween, because why wouldn't it be? Exactly. What I have for you is I've got 4 images of 4 characters in the entirety of the Halloween franchise. That's going through them all, apart from Halloween 3. I didn't touch it. I don't think many people do. So what's going to happen is you've got to tell me who that character is and how they died.
Oh, wow, okay. Oh, I better get this right.
You were not expecting this.
No, Liam McGuigan's not here, is he? God, I better not get this wrong.
Well, if you get it wrong, he may have to cut you from any of his future films, so that's just me. So, can you tell me who this is? The picture isn't as big as I'd like it to be.
That is Dr. Mixter, and he gets killed in Halloween 2 with a hypodermic needle to the eye.
You're absolutely correct. Well done. That was so quick. I'm impressed.
In a tribute to Psycho, I might add.
It is a tribute to Psycho. Our next one.
Oh, that is character's name escapes me from Halloween 5.
It is Halloween 5.
She gets sliced possibly in half with a scythe in a barn.
Yes. Can you think of her name?
Her name is oh no, I can't remember. Halloween 5 is not one of my favorites. Is it?
Wow,
no, you're just gonna have to tell me.
Her name is Samantha Thomas, and you're absolutely right. She's slashed by a scythe. Well done. I knew this was going to be a bit of fun. I just through your horror movie pieces, and this is great. The best character in the entire franchise.
Oh, well, it's the most terrifying character to me because I'm xenophobic, but that is, the dog's name is, oh my God, it's gone blank. Hold on a sec. Don't tell me. Lester, and he gets choked by Michael Myers.
In which film?
In the original 1978 Halloween. Yes,
in the original. I felt I had to get at least one in, but I didn't want to make it easy for you. If I give him a human character, you might go, yeah, well, of course I know who it is. It's from the original version. I've seen it. I've got 26 versions. I'm aware. Your final one is this, and probably one of my favorite deaths, actually, would be this.
Oh, that is... she's Paul Caster from the Halloween 2018 version, played by Rhiannon Rees. Her name is Dana, and she is hoisted in midair and has her throat crushed by Michael Myers in a bathroom stall.
I have neck snap, but I will absolutely go with throat crushed. And you're absolutely right. Her name is Dana. Her name is Dana Haynes, and she's from Halloween. Technically the only sequel now.
Yeah.
There is no other sequels yet, apparently.
No,
Halloween Ends next, I think, is the next one.
Sorry, what was that?
I think the next one's called Halloween Ends, if I'm right.
No, it's Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends.
Then Halloween Ends. I'm looking forward to it. I adored the 2018 film. I actually went to cinema. Was like, this is actually so good. I miss slasher films. I miss the era of the slasher.
Yeah, well, I killed you in a slasher movie, technically.
I know that, but apart from that and Halloween, you don't see many slashers about nowadays.
Yeah, well, we should work together. We should make one.
I mean, feel free to hire me. I am free all the time. And I have got better acting skills since then, so feel free. But thank you very much for coming on the show, Jim. You've been a great help. And if anyone wants to check out Jim's film, go to some festivals. And if he ever puts it up online, absolutely do check it out because it is absolutely fantastic, as is all the performances. Thank you very much, Jim, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.
Now, next up, I don't have a guest. We have the lovely, the beautiful, or as I like to call her, Marilyn Monroe reincarnated. We have Katie McNulty. Now, you're going to lose me while she sings you a lovely little song. I'm going to bring her on first before I shove me off. And I'll leave you to her.
All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, I'll never use them. Your goodbye left me with eyes that cry. How can I go on, dear, without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me? All of me, why not take all of me? Can't you see I'm no good without you? Take my lips, I want to lose them. Take my arms, I'll never use them. Your goodbyes left me with eyes that cry. Oh, how can I go on here without you? You took the part that once was my heart, so why not take all of me?
Thank you very much, Kitty.
Hey. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kitty. That was lovely. Yes, I could hear it sound a bit electronic when I'm going to fix this because this girl sounds amazing and she deserves the right to share.
Thank you. That was the remix version. That's what that was.
That's all it was. It was the remix. Thank you very much for coming on the show, Kitty. You've been my first guest singer, and as always, you've been a great help.
Thanks.
Thank you. Now, my next person I've got up is someone who someone who I've worked for from the beginning of my career. Back in the long days, must be about 6-7 years ago I met him. Since then, he's gone from strength to strength. He's moved from Northern Ireland to London. He's gone to work at the National Theatre and even become a junior producer and done a fantastic version of Edgar, good old Shakespeare. Now, please welcome to the stage, Ben Smith. Hello!
Hi. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Oh, your internet connection's gone a bit fuzzy. I think we're clearing up. Give it a minute.
No.
No. We'll work with it. We'll work with it.
Okay.
I'm good. So how are you?
Cool. Yeah, good. Good.
Been up to
busy,
much.
but good.
Busy.
Which is a nice thing to be. Yeah, just trying to run through the quarantine life. Trying to stay creative.
Keep it all going as best we can. So you've been doing quite a few fun things before quarantine went down. Like I say, you worked at the National Theatre. Well, I get a lovely little logo of them. There they are, looking all pretty. I performed a National Theatre show once, actually with Katie, funny enough, where we performed London Road, the musical, as one of our productions. We were the first people in the North to perform the show, and the producers came to see it, and they said we were just as good as the professional cast, yet they didn't cast me in anything yet, so, you know, it's fine. You can put the word in there.
Yet.
Right? Yet.
Yeah.
So how did you, like, get into producing?
Kind of by the skin of my teeth, if I'm a little bit honest. It was... I'd always been really interested in the whole process of the arts in general. I mean, I started, as you know, we did a film together. I started within kind of film, short film, television, and really enjoyed being both sides of the camera on that process. Through producing Edgar I Am and kind of being a directorial lead on that, and then also creating my own stuff as a kind of camera work. I really enjoyed just exploring every aspect of the craft. I think for me, it's quite important to know what other people's jobs are when you're on a set or you're on stage. I think I really appreciate knowing what other people do, and as a result, want to do what they do. So yeah, I think it came from a love of the whole. I did, as you said, Edgar I Am, which I produced. We shot it in a day and took it across to different festivals and things like that. Where it ran at the Oxford International Film Festival, which was really, really awesome. We got in there, and Rosamund Pike was there, and I was kind of mind blown, and it was just a really cool experience. Yeah, I guess that's how I kind of. And in terms of the National Theatre, I worked front of house. It was my day job while I was auditioning. I'd worked front of house. I had been part of the performing that I've done is within motion capture and performance capture. So I got to talking to some of the digital development team within the National about motion capture and about virtual production stuff. And yeah, just managed to wiggle my way through the door, and I really did. I was lucky enough to go to Sundance with them in January with one of our projects. And I really slid under the door just before this quarantine stuff hit, so I got lucky.
No, you seem to be doing well. Now, this is something that I don't usually get to ask because I'm normally the only person I've had on the show who's from home and has moved over here. What would you, and this is getting a little bit political, I thought I'd be a bit of a serious comment in the show because it's normally very happy and cheerful. What would you say are the main differences then between in the arts in England and in Northern Ireland?
Sorry, I got my flag out, or my flag.
Your flag.
It's one of the differences. I think, funny, I really appreciate the arts at home a lot more now that I'm in London. I think there's a general sense of collaboration back home that doesn't necessarily always exist in London. We had, we were involved in a short film together. Actually, going right back, we just found out before the call, I was in the table read for Braxton. That kind of stuff doesn't happen in London as often. It's more competitive, and therefore it's difficult to be in the room for that kind of stuff. And it's also difficult to build your network up if you haven't lived there. I think there's so many people that are really willing to help you establish and help you work with your career. Back home, your dad was a big help for me. Shane kind of did a lot for me and was in several short films with me. No, sorry. But I mean, we have Cinemagic, we have, the QFT, we've got Belfast Met, we've got the Lyric, and I've had, input from all of them into my career, massively, just to shout them out. But that is something I haven't experienced yet in London. I think it's different. It's different here.
See, it's funny you should say that because I obviously had a bit of a different experience with it because I moved away as soon as I turned 18. So I didn't really stay there to do anything. I just did my level 3 BTEC at Belfast Met, which is no longer there. Good old Tar Street. I saw it in Line of Duty and she walked into a room and I went, that's not that room. That's the canteen. Don't lie to yourself. So I find it different, but it's funny you should say that about London-wise, because in Manchester, in the north especially, I've discovered that people seem very willing to help each other. It's very much of a bit more of a family community around here, where we have like different groups and things, and people like, as a company that we run, so we run a company called Two Blair Game Productions, me and my friend Kat, and we always like to bring in new people every single time, rather than bringing in the same people. Because sometimes you go to auditions, you'll see the same people you've seen last time, We're always like, no, every time we want to work with new people so that we're always building new connections. So it's funny you should say that about London. I feel like I've now discovered differences between the north of England and the south.
I think that's probably true. I think that the thing is, like, to be honest as well, there's the other side of the coin from back home in terms of collaboration is that it can be cliquey. It can have its groups, it can have its regulars, which is fine. They are incredibly good at what they do, and that's why they are the regulars. I didn't go across to uni straight away. I did my coffee shop kind of few years, while a lot of kind of our age, our generation kind of went off to uni, which did give me a bit of a chance, I think, and determination. It gave me a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, to be honest, to kind of go and get the jobs that weren't present for me. So yeah.
No, but it's nice. It's good. I'm glad we talked about it. It's nice to have a bit of more of a serious conversation on this show that I haven't really had before. So it's nice to talk about that stuff. Now you're doing a scratch night soon. I have a lovely little image of your scratch night. Allow me to share. There we go. This scratch night is with Reflex Theatre on Tuesday the 30th of June at 7:30, and you can get tickets on Eventbrite for anyone who wants to know. So what exactly is the scratch night?
It is my attempt at kind of clawing my creativity back during quarantine. It's it's great actually because it's Reflex Theatre, and it's actually really just for me to flex some of those acting bones that I really haven't used in a while. I am performing a piece from a writer called Chelsea Sheldon called Pairs, and actually the cast list has been updated, so I'm working with Caitlin Wood. Reflex is a company that's set up by Callan Durant, who I contacted and said, look, I'm interested in jumping in and helping out in whatever way just to try and boost creativity. So yeah, I'm really excited to be able to do it because I've been writing a little bit and doing the usual monologues and stuff like that. But really wanted to get my teeth into something new, just to play.
No, good. I'm glad. So if anyone wants to check out this Scratch Night, feel free to go on Eventbrite and go on it. It's on all of Ben's stuff. I'll also be sharing it after the show on the page if you do want to find the link. Same as with Sam's stuff. You can just click it, check it out. It won't take long. Now, as you've seen from the past two people, we have a lovely challenge for you. And I thought I would take us right back to the very beginning of me and you, to the lovely film called Spaceman. Now, I asked you to have with you a form of blindfold, if you do.
I have a jumper because I didn't have one on me, but that it will work.
That's fine. Have you also got a pen and paper?
I do, yeah.
Fantastic. And well, let me get my blindfold. Mine's going to be some jogging bottoms because I can't seem to find my scarf at the moment. So
they're harder to find when you need them.
I know, right? So what your challenge is going to be is a bit of a replay of a challenge we did in week 1, except this one's going to be a bit different. We're going to be blindfolded, and we have got 30 seconds, it'll be on the clock, to draw a spaceman.
Okay, cool.
You were not expecting that. Nobody ever is. I love it.
No, I wasn't. I'm really thankful that it wasn't like remember lines and things like that, because I was like you said, 6 or 7 years ago. I was
oh Christ! I remember my lines. They're in my show reel. That's how I remember my lines. So
yeah,
well, my lovely Star Wars pajama bottoms because I can't find my scarf. Pen at the ready. And don't show it to the camera until I tell you to. So, 30 seconds. Oh, my phone just locked. Unlock, please. 30 seconds on the clock, starting now. It's gone. Right, okay. So, spacemen normally have things like that. And like a bit of a thing there. That's like a reflection. Give them some arms.
I feel like mine's going to be quite potato-y.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't. And I'm going to do a bit of a NASA symbol. N-A-S-A. And he's going to get a little bit of a rocket because it's going to be cute. Do some fire under the rocket. And it's going to be just a bee on the rocket.
Oh, hang on, you're on spaceship.
There we go. Actually, do you know what? Mine turned out not too bad.
Oh.
Are you ready for the audience? 3, 2, 1. Yours is a lot better than mine.
I would like to just declare that this is a spaceship, as it's a family-friendly show.
It's not something coming out of it, it's a spaceship. Thank you very much for coming on the show tonight, Ben. It's been lovely having you. If anyone wants to check out his Scratch Night, please feel free. Again, like I say, I'll be putting the link on the page just after. You've been a great help me, and it's been lovely chatting to you. It's been a long time, so it's been great having you here. And thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you, pal.
No problem. Bye. Thank you very much to all my guests. Now, I have a few things changing over the next course of the weeks. Next week will be our last show that's on a weekly basis. Got you there. Got you, didn't I? No, it's going to be, next week is the last time we'll be doing this every week. It's going to be every 2 weeks because things are going back to normal. So I need to get less stressed and sort things out. Sadly, that is the nature of the beast. I'm also going to be having guest singers and also more guests. So feel free to email me, send a message to the thing, do what you want. If you've got a creative thing you want to talk about, like I say, this is a show for creatives by creatives. So feel free to put yourself in. You've got something you want to talk about, you're very passionate about it, or you've got a product you want to put out there, absolutely go for it. Or if you're just a phenomenal performer and singer, also put in for the guest singer option. It'd be great. Just message the page or me, Brandon McCaffrey, and feel free. It's up to you. I'm going to go because my fiance just bought us KFC and I haven't had KFC in a while. See you later, guys. It's been great seeing you. Bye.